All right, it's Gemini Day. Gemini 3.1 Pro is here. Let me just show you the most important benchmark. This is Pelican Bench, how well a model can draw a pelican riding a bicycle using SVG. Let's look at the progress from Gemini 3.0 to 3.1. Generate an animated SVG of a pelican riding a bicycle. And as you can see, it is much better, much more fluid motion. But that's not all. We also have a frog on a vintage penny farthing bicycle. Look at this. This one doesn't even make sense at all, but this one, very good. Next, we have a giraffe driving a tiny car. Boom. There's just so much more detail, so much more movement. It looks great. Here's an ostrich on roller skates. These are incredibly important benchmarks. This is basically AGI. This one is incredibly impressive, jokes aside. And we also found out the Gemini 3 Deep Think model that just came out last week was, yes, in fact, using Gemini 3.1 Pro as the underlying model. And today they are shipping 3.1 Pro across their consumer and developer products to bring this progress and intelligence to your everyday applications. I can't wait to test this in OpenClaw. All right, let's look at some benchmarks. This one is crazy. Look at this. Humanities Last Exam with no tools scores a 44.4%, with search with a block list, basically don't get the exact answers, and coding with an environment 51.4. That is a substantial increase from Gemini 3 Pro and basically the same score as Opus 4.6, a little bit better with no tools, a little bit worse with tools. But it also absolutely dominates on Arc AGI 2. If you're not familiar with that benchmark, it's a benchmark that tests the model's ability to acquire new skills through learning and generalize them quickly. Here's what that looks like. You have an initial pattern. It gives you the solved version of it. Then it gives you a new version and says, solve it. Shout out to friend of the channel, Greg Cameron, also president of Arc Prize. So we have it scoring a 77.1%. That is double, more than double of Gemini 3 Pro. That is absolutely beating everything else. Opus 4.6 coming in somewhat close at 68.8%. This is substantial. Another absolute domination, GPQA Diamond. This is scientific knowledge with no tools, 94.3%. Second was Gemini 3 Pro at 91.9. And coming in third, 92.4%, GPT 5.2. Thinking extra high. We have a fantastic coding score with Swebench verified 80.6, basically tying Opus 4.6, scoring a number of points ahead of Gemini 3 Pro. Here's what's actually super interesting. Sonnet 4.6, Anthropic's mid-tier model, scores incredibly well across the board here. I said it before when I reviewed it. It is an absolute workhorse for knowledge work. Now, here's the thing. It is quite expensive. It is less expensive than Opus 4.6, but it is still very expensive. And if I'm really being honest, it is my favorite model right now because it has a great personality. It is fantastic at tool calling. It has a million token context window, but boy, is it expensive, and that's why I'm not using it as my primary model in OpenClaw. Live Code Bench scored really well. SciCode, #1. T2 Bench, which is agentic tool use, scored nearly perfect, 99.3 in telecom. MMLU, multilingual Q&A, scored incredibly well. So just a very high scoring model, but we all know benchmarks only tell part of the story. It's all about the vibes. It's all about when you actually go to use it, how well does it perform? I actually briefly switched to Gemini 3 Pro as my primary model in OpenClaw, while Anthropic so meanly revoked my access to using it via OAuth, and I really liked it. I really liked Gemini 3, so I can't wait to try out 3.1. So 3.1 Pro is designed for tasks where a simple answer isn't enough, taking advanced reasoning and making it useful for your hardest challenges. So here are a few more SVG examples. I don't know why they're so focused on SVGs, but it is so clearly better than Gemini 3 at SVG creation. Look at this chameleon as compared to this one on the right, just so much more detail. Just the visual design, the ability to create really compelling, beautiful SVGs is just so much better. Here is a simulation of something called murmuring, which is basically how a flock of birds fly together in these crazy cool patterns in the sky. Watch this. So this is a complete simulation of that written by Gemini 3.1 Pro. And Jeff Dean, one of the best engineers in the world, the chief scientist at Google DeepMind, put together a few of his favorite use cases. Check this out. So he says, I've always been interested in urban planning. Here's an example of an app created with Gemini 3.1 Pro that can simulate urban planning to design completely new cities. Okay, so look at that. It's actually designing a city around a geographic landscape. You have a bunch of different settings, everything from pathing, path collision, water features, land features, and you can edit and modify them all. Here you can actually see the city blocks being built. Look at how cool that looks. It's not only functional, but it really looks cool. And it actually put together a synthesis. So it generated this image of what that city might look like. Unreal. Maybe this is the future of SimCity right here. Okay, this is one I am particularly interested in because I've been getting into 3D printing lately. This is basically prompt to CAD model. So cool. Watch this. So write manifold CAD code to build this object from the technical drawing. Okay, so basically all it provided was a technical spec of what it should look like, and you probably don't even need that. And it put it together, and check this out. There's the object in CAD fully created. You are now able to basically create anything you want and 3D print it. So that's it. Go try it out. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.